Hey everybody, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm making it. I'm missing students. Teaching the screens is not the most fun thing in the world. I'm ready for the children. So we're gonna give everybody just a few minutes to come in. I'm gonna go ahead though, and for time's sake, start our timer so that we keep on pace. So you're due now. I'm just going to have you type it in the chat so we don't have a million Google Docs to do. All right. Hey, Alexis. Hey, Darian. I missed you coming in. All right, so I've got one answer. All right, thank you, Darian. Got your answer in for the do now. Just a reminder, we're just gonna type it straight into the chat. We're asking, do you like reading? If so, what do you like to read? If not, why do you not like reading? Because it seems like this is a really polarizing idea. Some people are like, yeah, reading is awesome. Other people are like, ah. All right. Now, if I mess your name up, please correct me. Prabhanjan? Oh, could you repeat that one more time? I'm so sorry. It got a bit garbled. Prabhanjan? Benjan. Okay. Prabhanjan? I am so sorry. Do I sound garbled to all of you? Or am I pretty clear?
You're pretty clear.
Okay. So it might just be the connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I got you now.
Hello?
Pra?
Hello?
Pra?
Prabhanjan.
Prabhanjan.
Yeah, I think the mic and my headphones are broken. So.
Oh no, that stinks. Thank you for teaching me that. Prabhanjan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. I've got some yes, fiction and mysteries. Cool. No, because it's just not fun. That's fair. That's okay. Okay. Chastity, like self-development documentaries. Oh, Trinity. I love dystopian too. Have you read the Scythe series yet, Trinity?
Yes, I need the last book, but I'm almost there.
Have one. If you need to borrow it, let me know. It's so good. It's all right. So let's see. Do we have responses from everybody already? Yeah, we do. Look at y'all being all-stars. All right, we're still having a couple of people join us, so we're going to give them a few, just like Miss Michaela. What's up, Michaela? Hey, Michaela, we're just typing our do now into the chat. All right, 45 more seconds and then we're moving. So if they are joining us today, they have 33 seconds to do it. Hey, Jasmine.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Good.
Good. We're just doing a do now real quick to kind of refocus our brains and get us ready to go. All right. The bomb went off, so that means our time is up. So it seems like a lot of y'all really enjoy reading. And that's cool because one of the things we'll talk about later on is how you get better at reading is you just read. But the ACT reading is why you're here. And the ACT reading is not like any other reading you do. So we're going to start out by just kind of going through a breakdown of what reading is. And I'm going to introduce you to one of the strategies. And then we're going to do a little practice and then you'll write a quick reflection. So I know what you need out of this. Just a quick reminder, our first college tour is coming up this Saturday. Oh, hey, Miss Heller's joining us. Looks like she's connecting to the audio. By the way, if the name fooled you, I am not Miss Heller. Surprise, I'm Weller. So
It should say CAP&GOWN there. You are recording, Weller. You're good to go. Have fun, guys.
whee. So our first virtual college tour is this Saturday. It's September 19th. It's the HBCU college tour, and then we're going to have a Cap&GOWN debrief after it. If you have not registered, I awkwardly posted the link in here. Don't ask me why, because you can't even click on it. Dang it, Weller, why'd you do that? However, I have a feeling Miss Heller, in all of her awesomeness, might be able to put it in the chat for us. So if you still have not registered for this is an amazing opportunity to kind of get to do speed dating with a bunch of different colleges. Whereas normally going on a tour, it would take 2 to 3 hours. You can get in, find out what this school is about, and find out if it has maybe some of those characteristics that you are wanting in a college. So I have a feeling Miss Heller is posting that in the chat, but we don't have time to wait. You know why? Because we have to go so you can rock the ACT. All right, are you ready? Pop on that mic and give me a yeah.
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 All right, I got one. I got one that's ready. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got like 4 of you. Okay, I'll take 4. The rest of y'all, come on, we're going. And Ms. Heller did post that link in the chat. So later on today, before you leave me, even during office hours, click on the chat, go in there, check it out. Please and thank you. Back to reading. Here we go. So this is the quick and dirty on reading. Reading comes third, and it's right after a break. Here's why this is horrible. One, you guys are like, oh, a break, great idea. On this break, you break the zone. You are coming out of that ACT zone. You might enjoy a snack. You might go and drink some water. You might wander around. You might question your life choices because you've just done 75 English questions and 60 math questions. Right now, you kind of hate your life. And then you come back and you're handed paragraphs. Ugh. So the reading is 35 minutes and it's 40 questions. So you have less than a minute per question. I would call it 45 seconds per question to be safe. All right. There are 4 different types of reading passages. So literary and prose fiction / prose fiction is stuff you might read in an English class. Social science is stuff that you might find in social studies, so history, psychology, sociology, that kind of stuff. Humanities, art, music, philosophy, and biology, or natural sciences, biology, chemistry, and meteorology. Real quick, either out loud or in the chat, I want you to say which one just appeals to you right now, just gut level. Which one are you like, yeah, I want to do that one. I like that. All right, so it looks like humanities, literary. Okay, so I got 2 answers. Give me at least 3 more answers. Give me at least, oh, there we go, there we go. They're rolling in. All right. So a lot of people seem to really like the literary prose fiction. Cool. Humanities, social science, no love for the natural science today. Whoa, usually I get 1 natural science person. Okay. All right, so, oh, I must have missed that. Okay, I see it. There we go. There's my love for the natural science. Good. All right. So imagine, if you will, you read something and you don't understand it. So you read it again, and then again, and then again, and then again. Finally, you're like, okay, I can't look at this anymore. The words are blurring together. So you take a break, your mind wanders. You might start thinking about what you're having for lunch. You're like, man, I could go for a chicken sandwich right now and some fries. And then suddenly you look up, you might doze off, who knows? And then suddenly time is up. Has that ever happened to anybody in here? Give me a yes in the voice or the chat.
Yes.
Yeah. I think this scenario right here is a rite of passage for high school kids. This happens. Why? Because you have to read boring stuff. Well, y'all, welcome to that ACT life, okay? The ACT is out to take your money. Why? Well, 1, they pick the most boring snooze fest passages that you could ever imagine. All right? If it puts you to sleep, they get it. Second, when they ask you questions about it, they're going to ask you questions that are confusing as heck. They're going to say in line 31, but then they're going to ask you about something that really happened in line 43. Craziness. All right, but not today. Today is not the day. Today we say down with the ACT. Give me a down with the ACT.
Down with the ACT.
Down with the ACT.
Yes. We are in an ACT revolution. And how are we going to beat the ACT? Strategery. We beat the ACT with strategery. All right, so let's talk strategery. All right, there are two main strategies. Today we are gonna hit skim for the win. All right, Miss Emery is gonna cover read it all with you. And that's gonna be next reading session, which I think is either next week or in 2 weeks. All right, so skim for the win is good in the sense that you don't read the entire passage. You absolutely do not read the entire passage. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to look for landmarks. You're going to look for things that kind of stick out and pop out to you. All right? So if you think about this, what is a landmark? Well, it's what you look for to remember where something is. So suppose you go to the mall around Christmas time. You're that kind of crazy. How do you remember where you parked after spending hours in the mall?
You find one of those like little things, those like markers that have like an A or something. I don't
Yeah,
know what they're called.
that's it. They're landmarks. In the parking lot, a lot of times they have like A3. And so you know you parked in section A, row 3. That's your landmark. Other times you just look at what store you came in. Well, did I come in the Dillard's entrance, or did I go in the entrance by, what other stores are at the mall? Somebody help me quick.
Belk.
Belk, thank you. Or did I go in the doors by Belk? You know, you narrow it down. You know where to look for stuff. Cool thing is that you can actually do this with the ACT. So we're gonna work on how to do that today. So for the ACT, your landmarks, they're gonna look like proper nouns, strange words, big ideas. So how do I find those, Weller? Well, you're gonna skim the text. How many of y'all in here have ever skimmed text before? Yeah. Of course you have. If you don't think you have, how many of you have ever been handed a worksheet with a big chunky paragraph or 7 and then like 8 questions at the bottom? You have definitely skimmed if you've done one of those kind of worksheets. Those worksheets are trash kind of worksheets. Why? Because kids don't read the passage. No, they don't read. They skim and they look for the answer. You're going to be doing that too, but it's a little bit different. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to look through your passage. You are spending 1 to 2 minutes tops in that passage. And the reason I say you only get 1 to 2 minutes tops is because you want to put your money where, or you want to put your time where the money is. And that's where the questions are. So when you skim through your document, what you're going to notice is 1, there are numbers all along the left side. This will make a lot more sense when I share with you our practice today. You're going to notice that there are numbers all along the side. You're going to be like, okay, I got those. Remember those numbers. And you're going to look for words. I like to look for proper nouns, people's names, places, even titles of things that I can go back to and reference quickly. When I'm skimming, I'm also looking for strange words. What do I mean by strange words? Well, if I see a word that I don't recognize offhand, chances are I'll want to know where that word is, because a lot of times in ACT reading, they're going to ask vocabulary questions. So I'll want to know kind of the context of that. And then third, I'm going to look for words that are repeated over and over and over again. Those tend to lead me to bigger ideas. Second way I get my big ideas is I read the first paragraph quickly and the last paragraph. So, what questions do you have so far? Am I doing that good of a job? Teacher of the year. All right, let's keep going then. All right, so tip number 2 is while you're doing this skimming, you have to stay engaged. Now, when you take the ACT, it's going to be on paper. So we are in a very artificial situation here. Solution to that is next week. Miss Heller and I are going to be delivering, probably more Miss Heller than me, but whatever. We're going to be delivering reading packets to you that you will use in my class. So you will be able to practice this strategy in my class. For today, we only have one practice that we're doing for this reason, because we can't really practice our active skim. But what I am going to challenge you to do is use the tool that comes with your body, and that is your finger. That's right. You are going to, as you go through this, to keep pace, you are going to actively read using your finger. You are going to point to things, and you are going to move your finger back and forth along the lines to keep you moving quickly. All right? If you don't get it at first, that's okay. There's a solution for that. Unfortunately, we won't be able to circle things or underline ideas. That's okay. Remember what you can. Tip number 3, spend time where it matters. Okay? 1 to 2 minutes in skimming is the most time you want to spend in ACT reading with the paragraph. 1 to 2 minutes tops. Because remember, we have 40 questions divided into 4 different categories, so 10 questions per category. You've got 10 of those per category, and you only have 35 minutes. So you've got to pick where to spend your time. So 1 to 2 minutes skimming tops. Then you want to spend the rest of your time, which can range from 30 to 45 seconds per question, even up to a minute for some, in the passage. All right, so we're tackling this one passage at a time, but keep in mind, you don't want to move from a passage until you have answers for every question. So 1 through 10 is usually prose fiction. You don't want to move from that 1 through 10 until you have a circle bubbled for each one. It's not like math where you can circle it and go back. All right? Every time you go to a new paragraph, you're asking your brain to shift gears. Now, if any of you have ever driven a stick shift car, you'll be able to relate to this. It takes a lot of skill and effort and timing to be able to move from 4th gear down to 2nd, or heck, 4th to 1st. You've got to know exactly what's going on in that second. All right? It's not something you want to do. So again, complete the paragraph first. Last tip is going to be to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Unlike English and unlike math, you do not have to know anything coming into reading. All you have to know how to do is read. Every answer is in the passage. Promise. Every single answer is in the passage. You just have to know where to find it. So if you find yourself sitting there and you're like, ooh, A is really good, A is spot on, but then there's B. Yeah, but B could be the right answer. How many of you have ever found yourself doing that? Going the yeah, but could. Anybody do a yeah, but yeah. It's that second guessing yourself. When you sit there and you rationalize, yes, y'all know what I'm talking about. Rationalize is made up of two words, rational and lies. That's not really true. It's not really spelled like that, but whatever. Rational and lies, because you're lying to yourself. What I'm going to tell you is today, stick to your gut. Stick to your gut. The reason I tell you to stick to your gut today is if you sit there and you yab at yourself, you will not finish. You have to go with your gut. That's how fast-paced reading is. So, our tips for today, just a refresher. Number 1, skim. Don't read everything. Look for those keywords, people, places, ideas, etc. Tip number 2, keep it active. If I were to look at your cameras being on right now, I would see everybody's finger doing this when we practice. Tip number 3 is, who's got it? Who can give me tip number 3? Oh no! Spend time where it matters. 1 to 2 minutes skimming tops. Today, you are going to actually get 10 minutes on a passage because we're doing it in the artificial computer environment and it's your first one. So 10 minutes. We're only going to spend 1 to 2 in the passage. Once it gets past that point, at 2 minutes in, I'm going to tell you, move on. You're going to be a little freaked out. Usually happens that way. They're a little bit, ooh, it's all right. All right. Then we're going to move into the questions. Then finally, we're going to practice. We're going to get to the point with reading where I'm not giving you tips anymore. And it's just drill it and kill it, drill it and kill it. Reason being, how do you get faster at running? What do you do? What do you do to get faster at running? Practice. Yes, Jasmine. You practice. I could not go run a marathon today. Why? Because I am old and I am chubby and I do not practice running. All right. How do you get better? You practice. All right. So here's the story. I have a Google form that I am going to link to you. I'm going to make sure everybody is able to get into the form before we even get going. So let me get that form for you real quick. And I'm dropping it in the chat. Now, honor system here. Just check to see if you can get in the form and type your name in. That's all I want you to do. I haven't started our timer yet. Okay? Just check to see if you can get into the form. If you can get into the form, I want you to type yes in the chat. You can get into the form, I want you to type yes in the chat. All right, it looks like everybody is in. Okay, I've got my 10-second timer here, 10-minute timer. Remember, first 2 in the paragraph. On your mark, get set, go. Hey, Michaela, we're working on a little bit of ACT practice. I'm going to link it in the chat for you. All right, wherever you're at, move on to the questions. Move on to the questions. They're at the bottom of the form. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning. All right. If that timer didn't scare you out of your mind, I don't know what did. All right. Are you guys ready to go? Ready to find out how you did? First of all, what did you all think of that? It was about coffee. Like the best thing ever. Was that the most entertaining thing you ever read? Oh no. Oh no, I was afraid of this.
Just a little. Not super entertaining, but like just a little.
No.
It was okay.
Not
I didn't get to
all.
like reading. I guess I was taking too long.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And it's natural that time management is an initial struggle until you kind of figure out your pacing. So if the first time you don't get to finish, that's okay. Our goal is by the end of all of this, you are finishing. And you're finishing with accuracy. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through each one of them, and we're going to discuss why something is the right answer versus the wrong answer, etc. And the more y'all talk during this time, the better off it is, in my opinion. Okay, so question 1. According to the passage, when did the United States begin to influence the character of coffee houses? So if I were doing my rapid search, what are some things I could search for on this? Well, does it only talk about the USA?
No.
No, it's talking about like the Byzantine Empire, the Middle East, etc. The Ottoman Empire. I have it pulled up on my phone, so I was sitting here doing it with you guys. So if I'm looking through this, first thing I'm going to look for is America, the USA, stuff like that. And if I search for it, I find that kind of that first mention of USA is where? I saw it in around lines 46 through 49. So if you need to, go back into the form. Are y'all, does it allow you to do that? It should.
Yes.
Perfect. Otherwise, what I can do is, let me see if it does it for, if this does what I think it will. This is my first time doing a Zoom one of these. Can you all see the passage right now on your
Yeah.
screen?
Yes.
Hot dog. I love it when stuff works the way it's supposed to work. Neat. All right. So if we go into around 46 through 49, what you're going to see is that it had taken place before such establishments appeared in, oh, there's my keyword, the United States, but almost immediately began to take on a singularly American characteristic. Okay, okay. And it's starting to, so we're talking about its characteristic, etc. But then the author really, really gives credit to who? Look in line 50 with me. If I need to make it bigger, shout it out and I'll do it. I'm gonna do it anyway, so I'm wild. So if we look down here in line 50, we see that it's starting to talk about soldiers returning from World War II. So they're bringing it back from Europe. All right. So if we go back to our question, according to the passage, when did the United States begin to influence the character of coffee houses? A, after World War II. They had those drive-through coffee houses. How are we feeling about that one? We good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we see the logical steps to get to the answer?
Yes, but can you go over it, like the logical steps?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so question 1, according to the passage, when did the United States begin to influence the character of coffee houses? The word I searched for was United States, because that's one of my proper nouns. That's one of my people, places, or things that I can search for. And I found that starting around line 46. So when I find a word, it doesn't necessarily mean I'll find the answer just like that. So I skimmed through it because I'm trying to figure out when the United States kind of made coffee houses the United States coffee houses. And it goes on to talk about how soldiers, after they got back from World War II, kind of wanted this coffee house experience, but it wasn't until the car was invented and they were able to have these drive-through coffee houses that really made these American. Because in Europe, these are sit-down places. You go in, you sit, and you discuss. America made them drive-through, like Starbucks. So B isn't right because it refers to the coffee houses in London. Anti-royalist political scheming, that was London. C isn't right because when the number of coffee houses began to that's about modern times. And then D is wrong because it refers to the current time, long after the author indicates that. So C and D are about modern times. B is about London. So the only thing that really talks about America's historical influence on the coffee house is A. Does that make more sense?
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So as we go through these, if there is one that you have like this super insane understanding of, if you're like, yeah, I rock that question, I need you to show up. Because after a little bit, y'all are going to get so tired of hearing my voice. Even though I am so excited about this, you're going to get tired of it. So I'll need y'all to jump in and answer some of these. And if you remember, grit tickets are to be had. So I may not be bribing you, but I might be bribing you. All right, number 2. The main idea of the passage is that F, coffee houses originated in the Middle East in the 15th century as coffee was increasingly imported by traders, but today North American coffee houses are increasingly seen as more authentic. That's a lot. G, coffee has been a very popular beverage throughout history, having been consumed by people from many continents over the course of many centuries. H, coffee houses are useful indicators of the shifting nature of social communication and cultural norms. Or J, coffee houses have always served to preserve traditional values and social and professional hierarchies. So our correct answer on that is H. Who feels like they understand why F is wrong. Let's just get rid of F. Someone tell me why F is wrong. Was this a confusing one? Was this one kind of tough? What do you guys think? Ooh, Jasmine, what do you think? Was this one tough?
It was a tough one, but with F, like when I read it, it just doesn't make sense to me, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, Jasmine. With F, it's like it skips from the very beginning to the very end. It's like the person who says they read something, but only read the beginning and ending paragraphs. Makes sense? So if you just read the beginning and ending, you might be like, oh yeah, that F. But no, you skim, so you know there's more there. Good. Thanks, Jasmine. I appreciate the feedback on that. All right. Who feels like they could explain why G is wrong? G is, to me, G was the hard one here.
They mostly talk about the adaptation of coffee houses rather than like coffee itself.
Excellent. Was that you, Trinity, that said that?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. G is also really narrow because we're talking about the main idea. To me, G might be kind of a supporting idea, but no. All right. And then who feels like they could tell me why J is wrong? Did we have some people fall for J? Was J the tricky one?
I put J.
Okay, why did you like J? Let's break this down. Why did you like J?
I don't really know. I just kind of got scared with the time, so I kind of just rushed.
Okay. You know what? That's okay. That happens. Don't sweat it. All right. J could be it. They've have always served to preserve traditional values in social and professional hierarchies. Except if we think about London, we're talking about how coffee houses kind of change in their role as values change. So London coffee houses were used to be sort of outspoken against the monarchy. And so J just, it's not consistent enough, okay, to make J fit. So H is a good fit because one, if you look at lines 5 through 7, flip it and whip it over to 5 through 7, understanding how coffee houses developed as social sites can permit a greater appreciation for the diverse ways that social communication occurs. Ooh, that diverse right there. All right. Diverse was our clue there. Any questions on 2? Jasmine, Trinity, I appreciate both of y'all. All right. Moving on. Question 3. Information in the second paragraph, lines 8 through 21. Pause. Where are we going to look?
Lines 8 through 21.
Yes, ma'am. Now,
I actually found the evidence in line 15 as well, or starting at line 15.
yes, sir. Thank you, Darian. All right. So here's the trick when they give you a landmark. You want to look a little bit around it too. You want to look a little bit around it. So if you see lines 8 through 21, I would look between 7 and 22, just to be safe, so I make sure I get the context. But as Darian was saying, he found it around line 15. And that correct answer is in fact D, reviewed by many local men as good places to listen to music or poetry. So, any questions on that one? Do we understand how we arrived at that? All right. We are moving on. Question 4. The main idea of the third paragraph, lines 22 through 45, is that F is, oh, go ahead. Okay. In 17th century England, many servants enjoyed the freedom and opportunity to work with their employers to open their own businesses. Nope, we're going to forget that that even existed. G, the growing popularity of coffee houses in Europe by the 18th century was due in part to the accessibility of coffee houses offered to men of different social strata. That's our winner, okay? Because if you look at all of the others, first of all, where are we looking?
The range is from 22 to 45, but specifically it starts at like line 30.
Very good. All right. So we're skimming that range 22 to 45. But what we need to find is if we're looking for a main idea, it has to be broad. It has to be. It can't be too narrow. So F gets knocked out because it's too narrow. H gets knocked out because all it's talking about is price. And J gets knocked out because all it's just comparing London to Venice. But again, G is nice and broad for us. I'm speeding up just a little bit because we are low on time, friends. All right, question 5. The passage states that the original character of British coffee houses changed in the late 18th century insofar as the coffee houses C, began to cater to specific occupations and political groups. Any questions on that one? Right. Next one, question 6. As it is used in line 68 to 69, where are we looking?
Line 68 to 69.
Perfect. Well done. All right. 68 to 69 to describe googie architecture. That's a fun word. The phrase brightly lit, almost garishly colored, most nearly means that the decor in American coffee houses. All right. Correct answer on that is J. Was a symbol of America's belief in a bright and hopeful future. All right. And my key there is offering the visual emblem of a nation's desire to take off the past or shake off the past and plunge into the future. All right. So really that's only the answer that talks about its future. Does that make sense? So F and H, yeah, it's not really supported there. There's no evidence. We would have to yeah but for those. And G, it's like, is directly contradicted. All right. Question 7. Correct answer is C. Correct answer is C. I'm speeding up with the idea that I have office hours for the next hour. So you can ask me to go back and specifically explain them, or I can walk you through some specifics. All right, question 8, correct answer is J. Hint, drive-in coffee houses. That's what we're looking for. Question 9, correct answer is B, as in, I believe you are all very smart and capable and doing good stuff. And finally, question 10. The correct answer is G. All right.